What were some of the highlights in your time with the ECB?
Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity for me going to the ECB. And the 3rd of November 1997 was my first day walking through the door as the new boy there, and it was almost like going back to school, really. And I was ushered upstairs, and I spent about a month shadowing Mickey Stewart, who was, somebody who I'd always looked up to. A fantastic bloke, knew the game inside out. In many regards, a visionary. He was always way ahead of his time. So I really enjoyed that month. I learnt a lot from him, began to get my feet under the table and get my head around the task of managing budgets, managing lots of people, contributing to the broader business. So it took me some time to get my feet under the table, but I really enjoyed doing it. I think one of my key tasks was to look at how we developed our younger players, and having gone around and spoken to a lot of other sports, I went up to the Liverpool Football Academy, I spent some time with the RFU, I went overseas to look at New Zealand rugby and down to Australia to look at their institute system and their academy at the time. And it became apparent very quickly that we needed to have our own high performance program and run our coaching programs, science and medicine programs, and be a headquarters for England cricket. So I set about pulling together plans for Loughborough or setting up an academy at Loughborough. It took a little while. I had to draw together lottery bids. We managed to draw down £4 million of the lottery funding, which was a significant chunk of the money we needed to develop the centre. So I think that's one of the highlights, because really that has now become the headquarters of the England cricket team and all the programs that run out of there. So that's been really important. And then obviously the last 6 years more directly involved with the England cricket team as managing director there has been fantastic. I mean, we've had some real challenges, but we've enjoyed a heck of a lot of success as well. So that's been very rewarding.
What was it like in 2005, regaining the Ashes after such a long period of time?
Yeah, that was a remarkable victory, because we hadn't beaten Australia for 18 years. They had one of the greatest teams that ever played the game. So we knew that we'd a massive challenge on our hands. But Duncan Fletcher and Michael Vaughan had forged a really good leadership partnership. We knew we had some outstanding cricketers, the Harmisons, the Flintoffs, Vaughan himself, Peterson just coming into the side. And we were going to give it a really good crack. But to beat them 2-1 in that series, I think was up there with some of the best results that we've ever had in English cricket. So, the celebrations were well deserved, I thought.
And in 2009, the Ashes again, but starting here at the Swilex Stadium. How proud were you to see Test cricket here at the Swilex Stadium?
It was fantastic, I have to say. As a former Glamorgan player, not just wearing my England hat at the time, as a former Glamorgan player, coming through the gates, seeing the welcome we got, seeing how the ground had developed, was fantastic. And I know that the England players, the management, really enjoy coming to Cardiff. They're always looked after really well. We haven't been beaten here yet. But on that occasion, it was a very special environment, very special atmosphere, and one hell of a game of cricket. And to see nobody having left the ground when the last ball was bowled, I think it's a testament to the show that Glamorgan put on.
There were a few low points as well during your time with England. We'll just touch briefly on Mumbai and some awful moments there with the terrorist group.
It was a terrible incident. It was beginning of November of 2008. We were just about to embark on 7 one-day internationals and 2 test matches of India. We stayed at the Taj Palace Hotel in Mumbai for 10 days. We'd done our practicing, we played a couple of warm-up games there before we started on the 7 one-day international leg of the tour, when we were going to go up to the northwest to Rajkot. And anyway, by the time we arrived in Cuttack for the 5th one-day international, we were 4-0 down, which didn't help things. And then we played in Cuttack, really good game of cricket. Kevin Peterson scored a really good 100, but we lost the game and jumped back on the bus pretty deflated. And not long after jumping on the bus, we were hearing, everybody's phone started going, we were hearing these reports of a terrorist attack or some major incident at the Taj Palace Hotel. And in those 10 days, I mean, we'd left a lot of our kit there, all our test match kit was there. We got to know all the staff really well. They've been fantastic in looking after us. And then when we got back to our hotel, which was about an hour's drive away in a place called Bhubaneswar, the televisions were obviously on in the restaurant and the bar area, and we just couldn't believe what we were seeing. It was just horrendous. And I then spoke with David Collett, Chief Executive, and Giles Clark, Chairman of ECB, saying we've got a major incident on our hands here. And then I spoke to Mr. Srinivasan, who's the Honorary Secretary, or now President of the BCCI, and it was clear that we had to call off our 2 remaining one-day internationals, and we had to return home because the siege was going on in Mumbai, and we didn't know how long it was going to go on for. There was all kinds of rumours and speculation that there were other terrorist groups in the country, and as one of the most high-profile groups of foreigners in the country at the time, we were obviously concerned that we would be a target. So we returned to the UK. We took advice from the government, the Foreign Office, our security advisors, and after a period of time, we went back to India. There was a lot of nervous people about doing that, and that was understandable. But everybody, when we got back to India, said it was the right thing to do.
What is your vision future?
First and foremost, it's great to be back here. After 16 years of being away, it's a very different facility. It's a much better facility, that is for sure. And I think we've got some fantastic opportunities here. It's great to see how sport in Wales and South Wales particularly has done so well in recent times. 2 Premiership football teams, the Welsh rugby team is doing incredibly well. And we need to join them. What the vision for the future is very simple. It's about making Wales proud. It's about making Wales proud of what we do on the field and off the field too. A key strategy for me for that is going back to what we did 30 years ago, and that's identifying and developing talent in South Wales and North Wales and across Wales to bring them into the Glamorgan fold. Every time Glamorgan have been successful, it's with a nucleus of a Welsh team, Welsh players who've grown up supporting the county. And we need to focus our energies, we need to provide support, and we need to have really good talent identification development systems in place so that these players can come into the Glamorgan side. What we also need to do is make sure that when we do have gaps in our team, we sign players from outside of Wales who are going to add real value to the team, who are going to act as really good role models and bring on the young Welsh youngsters and have a top-class overseas player. It's not rocket science, but it's worked for us in the past, and I really don't see why it shouldn't work for us in the future.